Hello, fellow preppers. 'Tis I, the rumpled one. Got to do a little book review I promised you. Home is Where You Park It by Peterson. Somebody was asking me, what they should do. How can they do this? And the thing is, of course, things have changed. It's not so easy to get a loan. Jobs are tight. I say there's nothing wrong with the economy, but has nothing to do with this video. The point is that unless you've got a nice little nest egg and you can afford, to buy a piece of dirt, or maybe a piece of dirt with some property on it, you might be struggling. You might be paying rent, which is basically paying off somebody else's mortgage. There's a time and place to rent, but if you're starting out, you're a young person, don't have a family, you might want to consider, living out of your RV or living out of a trailer for a while, because you own it. In fact, I don't know, sometimes when I pan the camera, I had a couple camp trailers. Well, I sold one the other day. I was asking $500, sold it for $450. It was a 1965 trailer. Needed some elbow grease and some TLC, but it didn't leak, and the floor is solid. Point is that it might be kind of rough for a while, but think of the money you could save. I don't know what you're paying for rent, maybe $400, $500, $600, $1,000 a month. What if you bought a trailer, lived in a trailer park, heaven forbid, right? But maybe you did that for a year, and maybe you could put away a couple $100 a month. Well, at the end of the year, that's $2,400. At the end of 5 years, you might have 10 grand or more, and that might be enough where you could buy a piece of dirt. So if you're thinking about, how can you do this, living out of an RV or a trailer with an end goal in mind, where you sacrifice some short-term pleasure for long-term gain, that might be consideration. And this book, it's pretty good, because it talks about, nomads. See, when you live on a home on wheels, you can up and move. Gives you flexibility. And one other thing about living in a home on wheels, small spot, you really can't acquire a bunch of stuff. So you don't come home with a bunch of junk you don't need because you got no place to put it, which means you're not spending money, which means you could put that money in the bank or put it to work for you. For example, you guys know the story of the pickup. Well, you might say, well, I don't have $2 to buy a pickup. Well, you could save, $10 a day, or, $10 a week. At the end of the year, you could have anywhere between $500 and $2,500. Then you've got some seed money. Maybe you start out, you find some car for $500, and you clean it up, fix it up, tune it up, maybe put another $100 into it, and you turn around, you sell that $600 and you turn it to $1,000. Then you find a car for maybe, $800, $900, and then you sell that. You maybe got $1,000 into that car, you sell it for $1,500. You just stair step your way. That's how you can put your money to work for you. So one way is to, if you live out of what you drive or a trailer, you cut a lot of overhead, and you cut yourself from spending money on things you don't need. So your outgo has been minimized, because that's what you got to look at. You want to increase the inflow and decrease the outflow. And that's how you get ahead of the game. So, did I do it this way? No. Did it a different way. But this is an alternative. This is something to consider. Not to mention, as a prepper, You might want to have a trailer. As my friend calls it, the mobile command center. You know, maybe it's a bug out vehicle. Maybe you've got that trailer in a bug out location that you, because you might not be able to drive, you might have to hoof it there. It could be 25 miles away. Might take you a day or two, but it might be out in the middle of the woods, camouflaged or buried, hidden in a cave or something, where if times got real tough and you really had to bug out, you've got it. So once again, Home is Where You Park It by Peterson. Because you have to prepare. Because if you fail to prepare today, you're preparing to fail tomorrow.